Hello, Earth Angels, and welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. It's your host, Kristen, and I'm so grateful that you're here. If you're new to the podcast, then welcome. This is a school for your soul. We talk about all things mindset, spirituality, a little bit of business in there, really healing on a soul level so that we can live our best lives, do the things that we want to do, and have the most abundant and fun existence we can. Because if I've learned anything from this crazy journey, it's that the only point is to experience it all. So that's a little bit about me and the podcast. I have a really, really, really exciting episode for you guys today. And you guys know that I don't bring on guests unless I like really fuck with them. So really excited for you to hear everything with Kelsey. We talk honestly a lot about quantum physics, manifestation, the blend between science and spirituality, her journey, my journey, rock bottoms, breakups, so much, but it's all kind of like blended within manifestation, quantum physics, and science. So, super excited for you guys to hear this episode. But I have a huge announcement today. And if you are on socials and you follow me closely, you already know. But Alignment Academy, the membership is open for enrollment. And I am so excited. When I'm recording this, I opened it yesterday and I already have so many of you in. I created this community because I wanted to create an affordable place for you to learn how to heal your inner child wounds and take action towards your soul purpose and really step into your power and shine your light. Inside, you are going to find so much value. Not only are there 7 of my past masterclasses, there's 6 pre-recorded meditations to help you rewire your subconscious mind and start to create higher self-worth through subconscious reprogramming. And then on top of that, there's actually a monthly live meditation with me, a live coaching call with me, and then we have a quarterly new masterclass based on what everyone's voted on in the portal right now. Our next masterclass is going to be in August, and it's going to be about quantum manifestation. So, if you want to get in, it's actually the cheapest it's ever going to be if you get in today. And the price is going to be increasing incrementally because there's only going to be more value added over the weeks and the years. And so, when you join, you get grandfathered into the price that it is today. So I'm really excited. You can join with the link below. So that's all my updates. If you guys are in Alignment Academy, let me know what you're thinking so far. I love when you guys DM me. I know that this is going to be such an inspiring episode. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you on the other side. Hello, Earth Angels. Welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. I have a treat for you today. I am so excited because you guys know I barely ever have guests. Like if I invite a guest on my podcast, it has to be somebody who is really inspiring me or I really, really want to talk to. And Kelsey is here today and she is not going to disappoint. Kelsey is known as the manifesting scientist, but I'm going to let her introduce herself because her story is so cool. So, Kelsey, welcome to Alignment Academy.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. So, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Kelsey, the manifesting scientist. I teach the science of manifestation. I started out with pretty much like no spiritual background. When I was a kid, my family was not religious. I had no like basis for spirituality. I didn't care. It was not important to me. I was curious why so many people seem to believe in other higher powers, but I did not. And then I grew up, I majored in chemical engineering. I went to college in engineering school, and that squashed any inkling of curiosity I might have. Engineers only care about science and academia and solving problems in this literal 3D world. And anyone who we encountered with any spiritual beliefs, like, it just wasn't in our world. Like it just was so not what engineers focus on, or at least like my group of friends. And it wasn't until in college I went through a really, really bad breakup. And I was so devastated. I was like hysterical. I couldn't control my emotions because I didn't have the tools to do so. I was crying every day. And that was my first spiritual awakening because I realized like I started doing stuff like so I wouldn't cry on the way to class. I caught myself saying like affirmations. I didn't know what they were called. I just didn't want to cry. So I'm like, oh my gosh, look, the sun. It's so beautiful. It's so bright. Like it feels so good on your skin. And before I went to bed, because I couldn't sleep, I started listening to these guided meditations I found for sleep on YouTube and just to not stay awake for hours, but I didn't understand the full power of what meditation can do. And after that first spiritual awakening, and I started manifesting a few things, I got into that a little bit, but I was still in engineering school. I wasn't a full believer, but I was like, maybe there's something here. Maybe this isn't woo woo. Maybe there kind of is a higher power. I'm not sure yet. And that was the first seed planted. And then now for the next, like the past 10 years, I've been diving deeper into the science I learned in school, the science I did at my job, the science that I came to know and love. And that was my teacher for so many years, and marrying it with the spirituality and manifestation and these other beliefs. I feel like what makes me different is for it's so foreign. So I have to almost like a detective, like build every piece of evidence to make it make sense. And the more I dive into the science, the more I'm realizing these are just two languages saying the exact same thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I find a lot of people who are either really spiritual in my world that are like, oh my God, that proves everything I've intuitively known, or people who were like me who have a lot of doubts and like maybe want to believe or are curious or not really sure, and then the science gives them that peace of mind, like, oh, like all the pieces of the puzzle actually do make sense when I think about it that way.
Yeah, I love that story so much and how it was like kind of building on each other to eventually lead you back to source or yourself. What was that journey like when you were marrying spirituality and science and understanding, I guess, like the energy of what God is? Like, was there any deprogramming? I know you said you didn't really grow up in like a religious or anything like that household, but was there any like undoing of learning what God is versus maybe what society tells us it is?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could take that in so many directions. Like the first I I'll start with the first eye-opening moment for me, and then we'll see where that goes. So I had, like I told you, I had my first experience with manifestation when I was going through my breakup. It really stemmed out of necessity for me. I didn't really know what I was doing. I wasn't chasing anything in particular. And then as I kept being hooked on this journey, the universe finds ways of giving you just enough a carrot dangling in front of you here or there to keep me hooked in even before I was a full believer. And I forget whose podcast it was, but I was listening to a podcast, and the person on the podcast brought up the double slit experiment in quantum physics. And I heard what they were saying, but I was confused because we had studied that in school. Like in engineering school, we learned about the double slit experiment, but in college, we would learn about an experiment and then just do like a million math problems about it. I was so struggling to like get good grade. You know what I mean? Like I'm focused on
Yeah.
getting grades. I'm focused on getting my homework done so I can go to the bar. I'm not sitting there philosophically thinking of like what could be the implications of this for why are we here? What is God? I'm just like finish this problem set so I can get out of here. So I didn't think about any of the implications of anything I was learning besides solving the problem. So when this person brought it up on this like spirituality podcast, I was like, why is she talking about that thing? Like, what could that have to do with anything? And as I'm listening, I'm like, oh my God. So all these years, like the double slit experiment actually meant something. And what happens in that experiment is scientists found that essentially reality only happens, like reality collapses from infinite possibilities to just one based on one sole factor, and it's us observing it.
Hmm.
Our observation alone collapses reality from infinite potential into the one we see. And it's that opened my eyes because it gave me, who was full of doubt and disbelief about everything, like, Oh, so this scientific experiment, even though we don't fully understand the implications, I mean, we see these subatomic particles go from like a wave function where any possibility can be true to when we observe it and we watch the experiment happen. The subatomic particle is both a wave and a particle, and it's a wave of infinite possibility. And when we watch it, it collapses into one possibility, the reality we see. And well, that begs the question, I think, of then what are the implications of who you are as an observer? If you are someone who's always, you know, being positive, like, and they say in the spirituality and law of attraction, if you're always being positive and you're always observing your reality all the time, will that have a factor on how your reality changes? And I believe, yeah, that was one of the first pieces of the puzzle that clicked for me. Like, oh yeah, that's an explanation for why it seems like there's certain people in my life who everything just works out for, and they're always very happy and positive. And then other people the same people who are always complaining about everything, nothing works out for. I'm like, yeah, because we literally create every aspect of our reality through observation alone.
I have a lot of thoughts right now. I'm like, I have so many ways I want to bring this, but the first one is I love that you brought this up because this was one of the biggest things that I kind of learned when I got into quantum manifestation too. I shared with you before we started the podcast, and my audience already knows. I learned a lot of this from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Kelsey shared with me that she actually has learned it from her own sources and sometimes tries to stay away just because she wants to keep her teachings very authentic to her, which I actually think is really, really smart. Like I don't also consume content from people who teach similar things from me because I just want to also keep my content very, very from my heart and soul. But one of the things that Dr. Joe talks about at his advanced retreats is like he's explaining the double slit experiment and talking about being the observer of your life, and he says this story about how one night he's like drinking margaritas with all these quantum scientists or whatever you call them. And they're talking about the observation piece. And he's like, well, what if humans are just really bad observers? That's why they're not creating what they want in their life. And basically his entire process is teaching people how to be better observers of what they want to experience in their life. And I have a crazy thought too that just kind of clicked in when you were sharing like what are you observing? What are your thoughts on like I'm just going to have this stream of consciousness because I don't really know where this is going to go. So I see a lot of people creating from their past because they're so caught up in their past. And I'm wondering if maybe the antidote for that, like maybe the solution is actually learning. Number one, I really believe in like healing your trauma so you're not really like so focused on your past, but also really learning how to be present so that you can experience, I don't know, I guess more of the infinite possibilities versus just observing what happened in your past and re-observing it happening in your future. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Our past is a huge indicator, I guess. It doesn't have to be. We have the power to change anything in
Yeah.
any moment, but our past is a huge piece of what we tend to observe in the future, even if we have a thought or 100 thoughts of, I want $1 million. I observe $1 million. You're saying your affirmations, you're doing the work, but your reality is not changing. It's because you have so many beliefs locked in your subconscious. Maybe some you're aware of, a lot you're probably unaware of, that keep manifesting a lot of the same. Because if you've been doing the same thing, I think Joe Dispenza says, I think I've heard him say this, but if you keep doing the same thing for 10 years, and then like one day you say some affirmations, like, well, you have 10 years of habits and actions and thoughts and beliefs and feelings about this and feelings about this that come up that, yeah, maybe you're doing the work to change it, but it's going to take a little time to appear in your reality. If all of us could be just 100% present, just fully in the moment, we would never need religion or science or spirituality concepts. We would never need to talk about this because we would just know. You know what I mean? Like we would just
Understand
create.
it.
It would
Yeah.
just be. Yeah, we just believe and then it appears and then the end. We wouldn't need none of this would like be necessary, but we do have so much in our subconscious. Our past really does affect a lot of what we do. because of, you know, past traumas, past habits, just everything we've built up to this point. It's like, you know, your childhood is like building you up to be one type of person, and then as you hit adulthood, you're like breaking that down to be fully everything and be that present master creator.
Yeah, and I totally agree because I always share this on TikTok. Like, one of the reasons I do feel like quantum manifestation works so well for me is because at my core, like what I started teaching and what I really started my spiritual path with was inner child work. And I've done so much clearing of like my past conditioning that I really do feel like at this point, I've like released a lot of that density, whereas my vibration can kind of just observe the thing without my beliefs holding it back. And I have manifested so much in the past year, and I have people that come to me and they're like, I'm doing Dr. Joe's meditations, but I'm not manifesting anything. Like, what's wrong? And I work with them, and then what I see is that they just have so many subconscious beliefs that can't like outdo the observation per se. And so I do think that it's such a good conversation to have during this conversation of, yes, we have to be really good observers, but you also have to clear out past conditioning so that you can just observe without conditioning.
Absolutely. Your subconscious, I was going to say in terms of the universe being a hologram, but we don't have to go there yet.
We'll go there, but not yet.
Well, let me start with this. Your reticular activating system in your brain is the filter in your brain that takes stimuli from your outer reality and filters it. You process so much information. Your body is taking in literally everything from your outer reality on the quantum level. It's like an unbelievable volume of information. And your reticular activating system chooses the top most important 40 bits of information out of the 11 billion you're processing. Those are the numbers 40 out of 11 billion of what's most important. And it puts that into your conscious mind, and that becomes your conscious reality. But the way the reticular activating system, or your RAS, filters out what's most important is it uses your beliefs, your memories, and your past. It can only learn by comparison, which is also how hologram works, by the way. It can only create holograms via comparison, which isn't that so interesting, but it can only create by comparison. So if everything you've ever known is saying one message, you literally cannot see opportunity. It's not that it's unavailable for you or you can't have it, but yeah, for some people, like if you know, being financially free and spending your time doing whatever you want and making a ton of money without working, that could be so far out of your realm of what you've known to be true that you do need to do work on expanding what you believe to be important, what your beliefs are, and what your memories are, and put in some fake memories into your subconscious and truly reprogram your brain to say, hey, this is possible for me. Not only is it possible, but it's here. I love it. I demand it. I expect it. All the things we talk about manifestation, and really rewire everything within you. And the farther away your current beliefs and memories are from the reality you desire, you literally, like, your brain is literally going to block out opportunities where other people could see them.
I really like the example that you gave around like let's say you want to quit your job, but like you're just like, I just can't. Where somebody else is like, well, no, I could make it work. I could get a side job. I could do this. Like I can figure out how to do it because their belief is that they can. It's like you literally just like cannot see the opportunity in front of you. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because when you first said that, I'm like thinking of an opportunity of like an email, like an email in your inbox or a clear opportunity. But sometimes opportunities are not like hand given to you on a golden platter. Like they're just options that you're not even seeing.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching this video like the other day, and this guy, it was really not relevant to manifestation, but this guy was like 3D printing a bunch of stuff he needed to build this like home brewing system in his basement. Very irrelevant to what we normally talk about. But I was like, oh, that never even crossed my mind. I didn't know you could just buy a 3D printer for 150 bucks and then just print out all the parts you need. Like, oh my God, I could just build that. I'm not going to, I'm not really a builder, but like that's a possibility. If I didn't see that video, I never would have considered the fact that I could just buy a 3D printer and then print out everything I need. Like technology is incredible.
It really is. And I love that you shared that because one of the things that I've learned about manifestation too, or even just like living in more of in a quantum way, I'll call it, is that every new experience will breed new opportunities. And so I always tell my clients, like, well, I have a lot of clients that, come to me in rock bottoms or breakups or wanting to change their life. And I'm like, you have to kind of have a pattern break in your life. You need to kind of create a new pattern, go somewhere new, do something new, because if you're just continuing to do the same thing that you do every day, there's nothing new that can happen. There's no possibilities that can occur. But the moment you say, I'm going to go left today instead of right to work, or I'm going to go to this new coffee shop that I never go to, you're creating a pattern break, and the universe can give you new opportunities based on that new experience because it creates new potential. So kind of just like what Kelsey said is like, I watched this video and now I had more uh, kind of potentials that I was like, oh, I didn't know this was possible. But it's the same for your life. Like if you feel stuck in your life or you feel like you can't find the next thing, it's like sometimes you have to put yourself in a really, really uncomfortable, unknown situation so the universe can present you with new options for your life.
Oh yeah, I used to love, I mean I still do, but I remember when this like first started happening, it would be so exciting to me when my clients would come to me and be like, "Oh my God, I got fired." Or like, "Oh my God, like I didn't get the promotion after all." Or like, the most traumatic stuff that could happen in your, adult life. Like the thing they didn't want would happen and I'm like, "Oh, thank God." I'm like, we have been working together for months. You've been telling me every day you want to run your own business because you want time freedom. Now you don't have a job. The universe gave you exactly what you've been asking for. You chose not to recognize it because you chose to view it as a negative, but you got literally the exact thing you've been asking for. And on top of that, everything you just said is accurate. Now the world is your oyster. You can do anything. You have the opportunity to do literally anything you want. You have complete time freedom. You don't have to find another job you hate. You can go do the business you've been telling me you want to start. Like, start it today, now. This is it. This is so exciting. Yay. It just comes with so much pain. We sometimes can't see the opportunity in front of us.
Oh my gosh, this is hitting so hard right now because I've been in this position so many times, and I know a lot of my clients have too, where they do get that thing that they want, but it's in a different package. They were like, this is not the package I ordered it in. I thought I was going to go full time in my business first, and then that's how I was going to get my time freedom, right? And then like they lose their job and stuff. And I think that that's part of working with the quantum field. I always say like it's a very big responsibility to work in this like infinite possibilities because there's infinite possibilities, you sometimes can't choose the way that you want it to go. Typically, you're going to get the thing the way that you least expect it, in a way that's completely unknown. You could think of all the possibilities of how it can come to you, and it's not going to happen that way. It's going to happen a completely other way because in the quantum field, there's infinite probabilities, and it's going to choose the one that's like right for you and right for your soul's growth too, which is I think where kind of the merge of spirituality and science kind of come in. I'm curious on your take on this because I know from what you shared about your first breakup, and then by following you on Instagram, I know that you went through another uh pretty big breakup as well recently. I want to kind of ask you, when you're playing in the quantum field and then something like a rock bottom through a breakup or a job or whatever happens, like how do you navigate that? Because I do think that you have to kind of bring the soul back into it and be like, okay, well, I wasn't manifesting this, but maybe this was my soul's plan, or yeah, what's your take on the spirituality and soul merge of things that happen in our life that we maybe don't expect or choose or want?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's so powerful because I feel like my biggest and most important manifestations, if you will, are who I am as a person and how different I am. And what I always teach my clients is I don't want to teach you how to manifest $1,000 or whatever. Like, that's awesome and do it. And that's great. But I want to teach you to be the person who always is manifesting all of your desires all of the time, because your entire reality that you're living, everything that happens, you're creating on some level. And so if your only focus is on, I want $1,000 by July 31st, like over and over and over, you're missing your entire rest of your reality. So instead of
Mm.
teach you that one pathway, I want you to be a person who, even when you're not thinking about it, even when it's unconscious, everything is completely unfolding for you. And so for me, my first breakup in college, the one that was my spiritual awakening, it was so traumatic. And I had no spiritual background at that point. Like I told you, I was a mess. I could not handle my emotions. I am not really a type to like spill out my emotions, but I would be like calling people at like 3 a.m. because I was so hysterical. I just couldn't be by myself. I tried anything under the sun to just like not cry and freak out. Like I wasn't who I wanted to be, and I had no tools to deal with this at all. Everything affected me to an insane emotional degree, and that broke me open so powerfully. And that to this day was the worst thing I ever went through by far, even though, I went through a divorce. My own parents got a divorce after this. Like other objectively bad things that sound worse than your breakup at 20 years old. No, that was the worst for me because of who I was at the time, and the level of pain I experienced was so different than what I had experienced up to that point. But
Wow.
after that, I became a person who could better handle my problems. But, anyways, so the point is, I was a mess. I was a mess for years. Last year, my husband and I went through a separation. It was shocking to me. I didn't expect it. And I went through all negative emotions that one might feel, such as betrayal, anger, shock, sadness, terrified of the future. But the difference this time was, even when an emotion came up and in my body it felt so painful, I also had by this point instilled years of belief that everything's always working out for me. The universe is on my side. Everything is always conspiring for me. That other breakup, that was the most painful thing in my life, it also completely changed the trajectory of my life, because I would not have done anything I did in my adulthood without it. I wouldn't have started my own business. I wouldn't have made multiple six figures. I wouldn't have built a relationship with the universe. I wouldn't have dove into the science. I would have still just probably been at my corporate job in the middle of Delaware. I don't know what I would have done, but without that experience, it was the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. So when it
Yeah.
happened on a new level, I couldn't help but think, well, maybe this is the next best thing to happen to me. I don't know. I don't know anything. My perspective is so limited compared to, the universe, who can see every single pathway. And if what I've been saying to myself this whole time is I desire to fulfill my highest potential, well, maybe this is leaving my old self in the past to give me every opportunity in the future. And so even when the negative emotions were coming up, they were never unbearable like before. I always had the tools to shift out, even if it took hours or even if it came right back 1 second later. Like, I always had the tools to shift out. I always had the groundedness of, but what if this is working for me? In just a few months, I went from complete shock at like, oh my God, like the future I thought I was going to have is shattered, and going through every emotion, to feeling genuinely excited about my future. And like, wait, at first I was terrified. What's going to happen? I thought this house and this husband and this pathway and this neighborhood and this life was going to be my future. And now I don't know. And at first that was so scary, but I shifted my own perspective on that thought. And I'm like, but I don't know. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I get to do anything. And I immediately booked a flight to Peru so I could do ayahuasca, which was something that I had felt called to do for a few years, but never, because I didn't have that shake-up event, I never had the reason to pull the trigger. And so I booked a trip to Peru. I booked a trip to drive across the country to Colorado and enjoy like a different style of community and meet so many amazing people there. And I truly got to see how beautiful life can be. Any pathway gets to work out for me, and any painful moment gets to be the best opportunity.
I literally had chills that entire time you were talking because I could just feel the authenticity and the level of embodiment in your voice of these really painful things. So first of all, I just want to really thank you for sharing that because I know personally, like when you're still, I don't think that you're still going through it, but when you've just gone through like a big life event, sometimes it just can be hard to talk about it. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I really want to talk about one of the first things that you said when you were sharing about your first breakup and how it created such a strong level of security. I think that that's so important to highlight because like I mentioned, I work with a lot of people that are going through rock bottoms. I went through a rock bottom with myself, and I always teach that when you go through a really life-shattering moment, it is because source and the universe and God or whatever you call it is trying to help you create a stronger foundation of security with yourself, which really correlates to a higher frequency within yourself. Because if you're at this frequency of like, I need things, or I'm only worthy if I have this XYZ, or my worth is based in this relationship, well, that's not really a frequency where you're going to be manifesting really beautiful things in your life. You're always going to be kind of seeing where giving your worth away, for example. And I think that what I really saw in your story was because you went through that really, really earth shattering moment of that rock bottom. Now, even when you went through a second like rock bottom moment in your life, you have such a stronger foundation of who you are as a person that you're able to actually see the beauty in the unknown versus like the fear of the unknown rather. So, yeah, I guess what's your opinion on that? Like, what is your opinion on security creating like frequency of actually having the universe always just be unfolding in your favor?
Yeah, I know that's where the science comes in for me. I
Okay.
think there's many people who I guess, I mean, it seems like I never had it, so I can't fully know, but there's so many people who were born with or just always had like an unshakable faith in a higher power, and
Mm.
I did not. And so I had to turn to science to give me the evidence that everything those people were saying were at least true on some level. And the science is what really gave me that unshakable foundation. Like, I create everything, everything's working out for me. It literally can't not work. The only thing that matters in manifestation is becoming a vibrational match. Everything in the universe, you plus the thing you want, plus literally any possibility you could think of, is only like a wave frequency. And all you have to do is match it. And it's like in the universe, it's like how a radio works. There's all the sound waves in the air right this moment, and you can just tune the radio to the one you want. And then if you want a different song, you just turn it. The universe is that literal. There's no you're not being punished. You're not like, God isn't, giving you a test because he just feels like it because he's a man in the sky and you're his pawn and blah, blah, blah. The universe is so literal. Your consciousness might be available for a situation that feels painful in that moment, but the universe is so literal, you can just shift out. Like, you can just turn the radio station. It doesn't have to have all this meaning that we sometimes put on it. And sometimes the meaning
Mm.
feels good, and we can use that to our advantage. But that's where we get to rewrite our own story. And if it begins to feel like too much, like, why is this always happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. We just get to say, it's not happening to me. I can shift my vibration. I choose to shift out and literally reprogram our mind, our subconscious to a new reality, because that's all it is.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate right here and somebody listening, I'm sure, is like going through, let's use a breakup or maybe a job, losing a job, and they're like miserable right now. They just want to get back together with their ex, and they're just like, I can't see how I can just shift out of this, Kelsey. So what would you tell them? Like, how do you actually just shift out of it and turn the radio station?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why we do all this work, right? That's why it's a never-ending process where even the person who you think is the most spiritual, they're still doing daily work because it's not like a button we can
Yeah.
press and we're there in that new vibration forever and ever and ever. Our universe is much more complex and as they say, new level, new devil. So even when you raise your consciousness or you raise your frequency, well, what you're really doing is expanding yourself into more light, I guess, but also more darkness because the universe has to be more balanced. So it may feel like you're experiencing problems, but it truly all is in your perspective to say, yeah, but these aren't problems. Like there's two sides to every coin. Really, there's like infinity sides to every coin when we're talking about how the universe works, but it truly all is in perspective. And when I went through my second breakup, by this point, I had trained my mind by habit. And habit doesn't happen easily. This is manual reprogramming, I guess. My first breakup was so devastating to me. Everything I did to not cry was manual. I had to force myself to do it. I had to like dig tooth and nail to fight for every positive thought. But that meant for 10 more years after that, almost, I was thinking positive thoughts naturally. So every time something negative happened to me, I always thought, but how is this working out for me? But how is this working out for me? I was always looking for the proof. No matter what I did, even when nothing bad was happening and things were good, or, the grocery store ran out of my favorite brand of noodles or something, I'd be like, why is this working out for me? Why could this be good? And so by the time I had my second breakup,
Wow.
yeah, I would feel the pain in my body, but my brain was always trained at that point to look for proof. But why is this working out for me? What could be one possibility this is working out for me? Well, maybe this is going to be bigger and better. I mean, at the time, like I went through my breakup, Taylor Swift had broken up with Joe Alwyn, who had been together with her for 6 years. And then she started dating a new guy, Travis Kelsey, who seems like a way better match. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe my Travis Kelsey is out there waiting for me. Like, who knows? Like, I can't know because my perspective is so limited. And so remember, our brains always look for proof. And how we reprogram our brain is it feels very hard. So if you're going through like something really devastating and it feels so hard and you're like, yeah, but you don't get it because this is what happened to me and it's so hard. Yeah, I know it's hard. The work is hard. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's very, very hard. It feels hard when we're not used to it. It's like building new neural pathways is like, if you go sledding, the snow is very fluffy and you try to sled down and you can't. And you have to like push and push and it's like, and then like, but after you do it a bunch of times, then you're able to fly down. And then you're trying to stop yourself, like to not fly in the street. Like it's so fast. And then imagine, so that's what you've been doing your whole life. And then one day you're like, oh, I want a new reality now. That's even harder to like be flying
Go
down
up
and then
the
like,
hill.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's so hard. But once you do it, it's going to feel hard at first. It's going to feel hard to start shifting your thoughts and looking for the positive, and you're going to fight yourself. But eventually, it's going to be so natural. It's second nature, and you don't even think about it.
I am absolutely obsessed with that story you told because one of the things that I have really been working on the last 2 years of my life is really noticing again how the universe is always like always giving me exactly what I need and how I am so supported. And I actually started looking for proof and I started making like this small series on TikTok of like sign or proof that like the universe always has my back. And it would be like really little things. Like I did this one video where I remember I moved into my new beachfront apartment that I manifested, but then I didn't have internet and I didn't have a desk, I didn't have a chair, and I had like a full day of calls that day. And then my water broke in my bathroom, like it wouldn't stop dripping. And my landlord, who like lives on top of me in the house on top of me, I rent like her casita apartment below her. she was like, "Oh, I needed the plumber to go into your bathroom. Like, do you want to go use my office while you have your calls?" And then like I had a full office that day with like an oceanfront view. And I was like, wow, this ended better than expected. And so what I've really learned and what I've kind of been playing with in my own psyche is like I kind of feel like trusting the universe is a learned behavior. Like, I think that when people have trouble with it, it's just because they haven't been looking for proof. There has always been proof, but they haven't been paying attention to it. And so for me, I have been starting to pay attention to the proof and almost like building my faith off of the proof, the evidence, right? And I'm very much like you. Like I don't know if you know your astrology, but I have a Virgo moon, meaning I'm very logical. Like I need things to kind of make sense. Like I'm not really one that's just like feeding into random spiritual things. Like even the EFT tapping, like it's not scientifically studied yet. So I'm like I don't know about that. It's not scientifically studied, you know? Like I don't want to waste my time. And so what is your take on like faith almost being learned?
Everything I do is learned. There is nothing that was natural. Everything I do and believe now is because I've thought about I've researched it. I've thought about it a million times. I've been
Mhm.
devil's advocate in my own head. I've screamed at my journal, like, why is this not working? How is this possible? Every ounce of faith is learned. And so I 100% agree. I need the science. I'm also a Virgo moon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my
So
gosh, I knew it.
for sure.
I was like she's either a Virgo moon or a Capricorn moon because like her level of evidence that she needs is very similar to mine.
Oh yeah. And like people hear me on TikTok or something and they think I'm really spiritual because I guess in a way I am, but I'm like, it's all learned. Like
Evidence-based spirituality.
all evidence-based. Yeah, exactly.
I love that so, so much. What is like one of your favorite manifestations? Maybe not like huge to the external world, but like really significant to you.
Okay, I'll tell this story because I just told it to my group and it was on my mind and I was like, I forgot that happened. But I mean, my favorite manifestations are the ones that happen internally. So with the breakups we talked about, I loved that I became a person who is
Mm.
true. I showed myself I'm truly able to handle anything.
Me too.
That's
Yeah.
why the universe has to work out. Like it can't not work out, so it will. It doesn't matter what my external world is showing me at the exact moment because it's always helping me. And in any given moment, I get to choose who to be. And I know that. And I fully believe it. And so, therefore, nothing can ever affect me. Like, I could make a $500 million and then lose it all and then make more and then just, I don't know. Like, I'm always going to be happy no matter what. So, fundamentally, that's definitely what I'm most proud of beyond any physical manifestation by far. But
Yeah.
I do have a story
Okay.
for you guys. Okay, so this it's just so funny to me because people always say, "Oh, my manifestations aren't working. My manifestations aren't working." I'm like, "They're always working. You're always creating." And this story is just so literal. It's like, how did I miss this working? But I just missed it. And I'd been doing the work. So anyways, I was telling the story about how to collapse time. I was teaching this. I think I was filming a YouTube video. I don't remember because this was a few years ago. But I was telling this story about collapsing time and how it means you do the same thing just in way less time. So the first time I ever made a 10K month, which, that was like the golden standard in my mind. That was like the ultimate thing I wanted.
Yeah.
This was 2019 and I hit my first 10K month and I put in so much work for that month to happen. For months I was building up. I was at my corporate job, but I was like hustling in my business on the side. I just put so much energetic work, physical work, was hustling, and I hit my first 10K month. Of course, the month after that, I made like 1K or something because I was just so burnt out. Like I had used everything I got, but it's okay because I proved to myself I could do it. But it was like, okay, so I made $10,000 in a month plus a ton of energy. I put everything I got into that. That was November 2019. So fast forward to December 2021. So like 2 years later, I had shifted what my business had been about. I did like all this different stuff. And I was launching this new program. So my business had gone like up and down, I guess, in those 2 years. And I was launching this new program that I finally felt like this was it. It was called Unlock the Universe. And I was teaching my clients how to unlock your universe using science to shift your beliefs and basically do, everything we've talked about, like align your subconscious to your desires, manifest, create all the time because it's possible. And I gave that course everything I had. And I wrote this text to send to my list. I don't really text anymore, but I did at the time. And it was like the perfect text for the perfect course. And I just knew, I just had this knowing that it was going to be, it was going to work out. I didn't know how, but I sent the text and the program was around $2,000 and 5 people bought within 24 hours. And so I had my 10K day and more people bought later on, but that was like my 10K day. And I was so excited about that because I was like, oh, one text message, man, why didn't I do that this whole time? Right. But it's like it took me the years of belief to allow that moment to happen. But it was like, okay, these are just moments I was really, really proud of. So I started with my 10K month. I was really proud of my 10K day. And I was telling this story in this YouTube video. Like, so I'm telling that story in the YouTube video. And then I'm like, my next manifestation is going to be a 10K moment where a client just hands me $10,000. Here you go, or something. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to manifest a 10K moment. And then I just moved on with the video. And here's how to collapse time, blah, 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 talk about something else. As I went back to edit the video, there, like, so I say that literally moments later, my husband had opened the door and been like, hey, good news, I got a 10K retention bonus at my job. And I'm like, really? What's that? And they're like, well, I wasn't eligible for a raise because I was so new, but they really wanted to like give me something, so they offered me a 10K retention bonus. I'm like, yay, that's so awesome, so exciting. Moved on with my video, like in the recording. And as I'm editing this, I'm like, like, I'm literally out loud. And the 10K moment was not something I had been like, manifesting intentionally for like months or anything. That was kind of just something I desired in the moment and said it in the video. And then like one moment later, like it happened. And at the time, I didn't even recognize it. I had no idea like the connections at all. And it was only in editing when I'm like, oh my God, like you did it.
You did it. You had 10K moment.
Yeah, it's so easy. You didn't even notice it. That's a manifestation that I laughed at. And I just told like my program about this the other day, but I laughed at it and it's like, oh my God, if I can miss something that big and obvious, like what are all the little things I'm missing along the way? What, even when I train myself to look for proof, how much proof am I missing? Like it's so interesting what our brains truly decide to focus on. And we just have to believe there's like way better alternatives always happening for us, like all the time.
Yeah. And I really, the way that I've trained my brain to have faith is like it is not big things. It's really small, seemingly insignificant moments, right? Like the time my landlord said I could use her office, or I had this other time where I needed someone to, like, actually I didn't need anyone, but I was moving apartments from like one part of San Diego to the other part, and I have moved a lot alone. I didn't think I needed help, but I met this guy at the coffee shop the day before I was moving, and he was like, hey, do you want me to help you move? And at first I said no because I didn't need help. But then like weeks later, I did need help like moving a piece of furniture out for my final like leaving the apartment. And I called him and I was like, hey, I actually do need your help moving. Like, can you just come to the apartment and just help me move something down? Because like I'm one girl and I can't move a TV stand down. And it was such a crazy thing where I was like, wow, the universe low key just is always sending me exactly what I need to support my highest good. And when I started noticing these little moments, it just gave me so much more faith for the bigger moments, right? When you're wanting to manifest money or the relationship or new friends, you're like, oh, well, if all these little things worked out, it obviously is going to work out in these bigger things. It just I haven't observed it in my reality yet, but I'm going to, because the other thing about manifestation is what I remind everyone is like, whatever you're observing right now is kind of old, right? All you have to do right now is decide to feel something differently, change your frequency, and you are going to reap the benefits of that tomorrow, the next day, right? Like whatever you're experiencing right now, like it's outdated. So in this moment, you get the opportunity to create a new reality.
Always. Yeah, the micro moments are the best. Literally the other day at the gas station, I was thinking about, I had just done like a cat sitting on Rover. Like I just really love cats. So cat sitting, I think it's so fun to like get paid just to be around cats. Like, and that's a perspective though. Like I do that on purpose, not because I need the money, but because I love shifting the perspective of, oh, I love doing this, so I'm going to get paid for it. Like it's for me a mindset hack to be like, what's something I love and I demand to get paid for it rather than like, how do I pay to do this? Work has to be hard, money has to be a struggle. No, the things I love, I get paid for. So I'm watching this cat, and basically the whole time the cat just jumped on my lap, which is joyful to me. That's like the best feeling. And then I just went home and I'm like, wow, that's so cool that I get to be paid. Of course I do, for cats just sitting on my lap and literally just sitting there and like leaving voice memos to my clients. Like I'm doubly paid. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm a cat. So I'm like, oh, what an abundant opportunity. And I'm like, I'm a person who always finds stacking money. I love finding abundance. I love getting paid for just being me and the things I like. And I'm getting my gas. So like I'm driving home from the cat set, I'm getting gas thinking like I love abundant opportunities. And I look down and there's like a shiny penny just like right between my feet that like I hadn't noticed till I started thinking, oh, every moment's abundant. And I looked down like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah, it's just a penny. That's not a life-changing amount of money, but it kind of is when it's your energy shifting. And it's that micro proof of like the universe is listening, the universe is conspiring for you. And it's that looking for proof. If I hadn't thought that thought, I may not have even seen the penny. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed that you said this story because so my mom is like really has such an abundance mindset, and she always has, like even when she was going through her divorce and she was putting through three kids through college on her own and barely making ends meet, she was like, oh, we always have enough, like we always have enough. And I remember when I was younger, she would pick up pennies off the floor and she would get so excited, like, and I remember being like, why are you getting excited? It's a cent. Like I would say that to her. I'd be like, why are you getting excited? Like, ew, why are you picking that up? She said this to me once, and then I didn't really like think about it until I was a lot older and I was working on my abundance mindset. And she goes, Kristen, when God gives you abundance at any amount, you celebrate it. Like it doesn't matter if it's a penny or if it's $100. If you're not going to celebrate a penny, why would he give you $100, you know? And I remember that moment. And I just, when I was really healing my lack mindset, that was a very, very big moment. Like if you get $10 for something and you're just like, oh, well, it's just $10. It's like, if you can't be grateful for that, you're not going to be grateful for $1,000 because you're still not going to think it's enough. And so I've also started picking up pennies off the floor and being so excited about it and being like, thank you. I'm so abundant. Look, abundance is everywhere.
I love it. It's so accurate. And like people always want to manifest these massive amounts of money so they can quit their job or travel around the world or whatever, right? Oh, I want $1 million. I want $20,000, whatever the amount is. But it's like, okay, how do you think you get $1 million? One way is someone walks up to you and hands you a check for $1 million. Most people find a second way, which is $1 at a time. You get paid this
Step at a
week. You get
time.
paid $100 for this job. You get paid $1,000 at your normal job. You get, this money, this money, this money, and you build up. So even if you find a penny or $1 or some amount that's objectively insignificant, it's not. It's the most significant because you're literally getting what you're asking for.
What is your number one tip for someone who is listening to this that wants to manifest money?
If you want to manifest money, this is what comes up for me to say in this moment. Like we talked about earlier, the universe is very literal. $1 million or $1,000 or $1, they're just different dials of the radio station. There's not this amount I can have and this amount I can't have. That's a limitation and a story that we put on ourselves. That's not objectively true. The universe, money's like fake. Like it doesn't care. The universe can easily make any reality, any amount of money. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you believe you can have it. And what helps me believing to know I can have it is that it, it just is so literal. Like the universe can do anything I want because everything is just like a radio wave, and it's only my job to tune into one of the radio waves. But they're all already there. It's not like the universe has to do all this work to create it the way, oh, well, if I want money, it's going to be so hard and so much struggle and takes so much time, and I have to do all these things. No, that's a me limitation. For the universe, all the sound waves are already there. And so, really taking the meaning out of it and the emotion and the hardness and anything you feel in your body or hear come up in your mind when you start thinking about manifesting money, remember that's you put that there because that's not objectively true. That's a limitation you put on yourself. Abundance is your true nature. You get to have anything you desire. You are creating your reality and you get to have massive abundance. So it doesn't have to be so hard if you don't want it to.
How did you retrain your brain to go from I have to work hard to make money, like that first 10K month, to oh, money just flows to me all the time because this is the rule in my hologram?
Absolutely. I One belief that was really prominent to me about money was work hard, get a corporate job, work in that corporate job for 40 years. That was,
Same.
yeah, yeah, that's what I knew to be true forever. And so I did that. I mean, I studied a lot in school, I got my engineering job. Like, I believed that. I did not have a second belief, and I got that, obviously, because that's how the universe works. It was only once I got that, I realized I did not like that. And that's when I started looking for other opportunities. And one of the first ways I began to retrain my brain was while I was at my corporate job, I would listen to as many like podcasts, audiobooks, people, YouTubers, whatever, whoever I could get my hands on and was inspiring me, people who were making money in different ways, people who retired really, really young. Any story I could find that was proof, well, that person didn't get money from a corporate job. That person didn't get money from a corporate job. And that really broke down my beliefs. Like, not only did their money not come from a corporate job, but actually my corporate job is limiting because there's a cap on how much salary I can make. Even if I climb all the way up the ladder, what will I make? Like 200K a year or something? Like, I don't know what they make, but it's not going to be that much. The CEOs who run businesses make 200 million a year.
Yeah.
So actually, not only is my belief not accurate, it's very untrue. It's actively like the opposite of what the truth is. And at the same time, because I wanted to quit my corporate job so badly, I really got into personal finance and just like not woo woo, not manifesting, just regular
Personal finance.
yeah, personal finance, 401ks, all that kind of stuff. And I realized like the number one way, and at the time I was like 22 or 23. So the number one way I could become a millionaire, like if I did the math, I only had to save a few thousand a year and then just invest in the stock market. And then I would be a millionaire, like multimillionaire at retirement. And I'm like, oh, my money just grows. And in the terms of investing, that's just what happens. Like there's no woo, there's no magic. There's no, oh, I have to be this certain way. It's like, oh, I just put my money in the stock market and then it grows. Like even if there's crashes, it always bounces back. In the past 100 years, it's always bounced back. So it probably will bounce back again. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so money just multiplies. Okay. Well, then why am I working? You know what I
And
mean?
and just like the faith thing, you have to learn it. Like look for ways like, oh wow, somebody just bought my $10 meditation. I didn't have to do anything. Money's easy. Money always comes to me. And like that's what I've done is like I had to start looking for proof that money was always coming to me and I wasn't working that hard because I had definitely a core belief of like I have to work hard to make money. And for a lot of years in my business, and I'm still to this day starting to undo the deep, deep programming of like I don't have to work hard to make money. Like money is actually just always coming in. It's like always a flow. And I think part of that too is kind of being comfortable with like letting it go up and down because like just like a wave or anything that has flux, like it's going to go up and down, but it's always increasing a little bit.
Oh yeah, I same. And even when I was running my business full time, sometimes I would like knock myself out of the flow almost because I was so used to and really enjoyed like the stable paycheck. And so
Mhm.
if I made in my business like I don't know, like 4,000 a week or something, like in a 2 week cycle, the same as a corporate job, but the next 2 week cycle, I made like zero or like 20. I'd be like, I failed. I didn't do it. I didn't hit my goals. Oh my gosh, like it really is easy to psych yourself out when your outer reality isn't matching
Yeah.
what I believe to be true in a way, which is like the steady cycle. And it does take a lot of work to like keep reminding yourself, like, no, but like, wouldn't you rather make zero in 2 weeks and then in, the next 2 months hit like 20,000?
30,000. Yeah, who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. Like, wouldn't you rather just like not make money now and then like have a huge launch that's like this massive success? Like, you don't need that slow drip feeding. You can just have it all in one moment.
Yeah, and I think that's also where like some inner work comes in. It's like, can you feel worthy when you're making $0 in 2 weeks? Like, I've been
Yeah,
there where I had a huge launch, and then the next month I'm like, well, what WTF do I sell this month? Because I just sold the big thing that I'm gonna be working on for the next 3 months. And it's like, no, can you hold that frequency of like, it's still all working out for me? Nothing's wrong. Doesn't mean that I'm unworthy. It's like there's so many layers to this to really prime your frequency to be that true vibrational match to wealth, which doesn't equal money. Like wealth and abundance doesn't only equal money. And that's honestly my biggest tip for the audience is the longer that you think that money equals abundance, you're going to be on a hamster wheel of feeling worthy and unworthy. But when you realize, like, I can be abundant in this moment, I can be like, wow, I'm having such a beautiful, heart-centered conversation with Kelsey. I have more than enough air to breathe. I'm never going to run out. I have so much food in my fridge. I'm so abundant in this moment. I just have to decide where I want to look.
absolutely. Money is like literally play money, like
It's
Monopoly.
play. Like we don't even have like we barely use cash anymore. It's literally fake.
It's literally just digital numbers that we look at. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy that we'll let a digital number on a screen dictate how we feel in a day. Like think about how crazy that is. Like you'll let a money a number on a screen make you have a good or bad day. Like that's insane, you know? That's insane to let something inanimate make you feel a certain way about yourself. You need to decide that you are undoubtedly and unconditionally worthy and a beautiful person and you have a good heart and worthy of everything that you desire, no matter what the number on the screen is.
Exactly. When I was doing a lot of work around breaking down my beliefs about making money at a corporate job, like that was still the path of least resistance for money to come in. Even the story I told about manifesting like 10K, in a month, in a day, whatever. Like when I wanted 10K in a moment, of course, it was my husband's corporate job that came and gave the money. And that can bring up I'm bringing this up because one, like the money will come through the path of least resistance. And for me, there was still the least resistance for a corporate job. So when I really desired it, and that's not the only moment that happened, there's a corporate opportunity where that will always come through like in a push because that has no resistance for me. Where even, yeah, like instability, even to this day, like there I still have to remind myself, no, it's okay. And now it's much easier to shift out than in the past, but the corporate pathway, I mean, that never had like 1 ounce of resistance ever in my life. So that's just the easiest. But two, it's like, yeah, in the face of, when you see other people, like when I see my husband making the money, I have to remember, no, I manifested that. Like, yay, it's all working for me. I did that and I'm worthy, even though the money didn't come through me in the exact way that I personally planned it. And it's sitting in my personal bank account. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all working. And that is proof it's all working, even if it's not through me. And that was something I personally had to work through because that would make me feel unworthy when I could manifest through other people, but there were blocks of manifesting through my own self.
And money actually always comes through other people. Think about it. Like
Oh,
it's
yes, that
never
was one of the
really,
things that changed it for me.
yeah,
Exactly.
like it's never actually coming like it's not dropping down from the sky or just landing in your bank account. Like it comes through people. So
Yep.
it's such a good and honestly, I have so much, I'm like, I could talk to you all day. The other thing is like we are twins with the when I was at my corporate job for 4 years, I would listen to I would honestly clock 4 podcasts a day of just listening to people who quit their job, listening to inspirational stories, listening to entrepreneurship podcasts, listening to solo travel, like literally everything. I would just fill my ears. I would be listening to like Hay House Radio. I was like 22 at the time and just listening to all the spiritual stuff and manifestation stuff and all of that. So my biggest takeaway from what you and I've done is like when you want to do something, but you don't believe you can, you have to just consume proof and proof and proof and proof and be like, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's honestly what I've been doing of right now. I want to increase my income level. And I literally unfollowed like a lot of the coaches I was following. And I only am following people right now that are proof that I can have what they have because I look at them and I'm like, well, not in a mean way, but like you're not better than me. Like I'm just as worthy as you. So if you can have it, I can for sure have it. And I'm like almost increasing my capacity of what I believe is possible for me. So consuming good content is honestly such a manifestation hack.
Absolutely. And I totally relate because when we were talking about like instability of income, like one of the ways that I helped heal that and still do, I guess, it's just more natural so I don't have to think about it, is like it sucks when you make $0, even if you on purpose didn't launch anything and that was literally in your plan. And then on social media, your favorite coach is, oh my God, I made $40,000 today. And then it's like, awesome. I know this is possible for me. And wow, I made zero.
Yeah,
Like I think in manifestation and in life, there's a moment of massive acceptance, and you get to say, like, that means nothing about me. Both things can be true. That's awesome for her. I see that for me. And it makes me feel a little weird. And that doesn't have to sit in my body and mean bad things about me. But also, I could just unfollow this person for a
yeah,
little bit because I
1000%.
just need to focus on my own plan that has been working for me.
1000%. Like, honestly, sometimes you do have to protect your peace. If all the coaches that you're following are making you feel jealous and like comparing your life, then unfollow those people. Like, they don't need to be looping in your brain. But I think I'm at a point too where I don't really compare myself and it's more of like an expansion versus comparison because I truly believe like if somebody else has something, then I can for sure have it because I can create anything that I desire. And I really believe that I'm a creator. So thank you for
Yeah.
that caveat. So it was,
And how different does it feel? Like I remember in the past, I was so crazy about like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this money, I need to do this. And it can feel a little inspiring, but it was also a lot where now I have full trust, like, no,
mhm.
everything's working out for me.
It's all
If I
good.
want, I'll always create. Like I don't even have that lack almost anymore. Like I just know I can have everything. So why would I ever fill my consciousness with things that don't make me feel like that?
I love that. I love that. Okay, Kelsey, I have two more questions for you because I don't want to like keep you literally all day because I could. Okay, my first question is an easy one. I want to know your full chart if you know it. So, do you know your sun, moon, and rising?
Yes, Taurus sun, Virgo moon, and I think Aquarius rising.
Oh my gosh, I'm an Aquarius rising too.
What does it mean? I'm never I don't know what to do with that.
That makes so much sense for you. So Aquarius is okay, guys, don't judge me because I'm not that well versed in astrology, but I'll tell you what I know about
Definitely
it.
not.
Aquarius is like the innovator. It's also known as the alien. It's also known as just like the very independent, going to do things differently. You want to think of it on the leading edge type thing. It's like always kind of creating the new thing or interested in the new thing or becoming the new thing. And you're obviously into like quantum
Yeah,
physics. So that makes complete sense for you. And we also just like to do things differently. So it makes sense that we did not want to do the corporate route. We were like, let me like find my way to do life. So Aquarius rising, and we both have a Virgo moon, which is probably why like we just get along really well.
yeah. Wait, what's your sun sign?
I'm an Aries.
Oh, that makes sense. I would say honestly, like 80% of people I vibe with are Aries. They're all Aries.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that.
everyone. So I should have just guessed. You
I
have to
know.
be Aries or a Taurus, but you're probably not a Taurus because you didn't say that right away. So
Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to know. So I love that. And then my last question for you before we close out is Do you ever lose faith? Like, even with all of this science to back it up, like, do you ever just have moments where you're like, maybe this is all bullshit? And if you do, how do you handle it?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like all the time. Like I said, everything that I do faith-wise is learned. But to
Mhm.
learn, I mean, you have to question, right? Like if I just accepted everything that everyone told me, there'd be nothing to learn. So I have it's natural in me to constantly be questioning. And when life happens, and sometimes I get mad and angry, and I'm like, no, I give up. This can't be real. This is all a lot, whatever. In my worst, darkest moments, it's honestly kind of annoying because at this point, I feel like my belief is so strong. Even when I want to give up and I'm like, I'm done, there's like this little tiny voice in the back that's like, you can't though. It's like if you're mid roller coaster and you're like, I want to get off. Like, even if you really want to, and I hate roller coasters, so I've definitely had that moment many times, you can't. You're on it. Or like what if you're in the middle of like a war and then like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. You can't, like you have to get out. Like, you know what I mean? Like you it's that moment of this is so hard. I just want to give up, but you also just can't because there's not really another alternative. And that's the feeling I almost feel like even when I want to give up, there's this little tiny voice that's like, but you can't. And I'm like, ah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And you have so much, I found that like in my rock bottom moments, like I'm so much stronger. I didn't think I could get through it. And then you do. And you're like, oh, I am so fucking strong. And it really creates that sense of security within.
Yeah. And sometimes in my worst moments, one thing I do is I say to the universe, is this all you've got? And I pretend this is my worst moment. And I'm like, oh, is this all you've got? If this is my worst moment, it's not that bad. And
Yeah.
then it's like,
I love
it
that.
really changes my energy to be like, okay, if this is my worst moment, I can handle it.
Yeah. Oh, such a good place to end. Thank you so much, Kelsey. I just know my audience is going to be obsessed with this conversation. So please let us know where we can find you, what you're currently up to with your offerings, and how everyone can connect with you on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm mostly on TikTok and Instagram at the Manifesting Scientist. I would definitely love to meet you. So follow DM. My DMs are open. I would love to chat. And what I'm working on right now are I have two main programs that are always having spots open are my one-on-one coaching. It's called Quantum Activation. It's a 3-month opportunity for the people who are ready to just like, I'm all in. I'm sick of everything that's happened up to this point, and I just want to dive in. It is a true rewiring of your whole being on the quantum level. And then my other program is my membership. It's only $11. So if you're, ooh, I'm intrigued by this, but this is so far out of everything I've ever heard before. I'm not quite sure. I want to dip my toes in. It's called The Experiment, and it is a really great place for us to experiment. Just take the pressure off, see if this works for you. I do almost daily trainings, like 5 to 6 a week. We have a great community inside that is people who are ready to quantum leap, and people are doing all kinds of stuff in there, and it's a really fun place to hang out.
That is the best name. I'm like almost jealous. I'm like, that is such a good name. The experiment, because life is an experiment. It's just an ongoing experiment. So I love that.
Yeah,
Great
that
job on
is
your name.
yeah, I always ask everyone in the group, like over and over and over, like, let's just experiment. When they're like, what should I do? I need clarity, blah, blah, blah. All the things that come up for us. I'm like, we'll just experiment. What if you just saw
Mhm.
what happened? What if you just experimented with how good it can feel? And if you fail the experiment, just pick something else to experiment.
So good. Okay, guys. Well, I'll have everything linked below. I'll have both of her TikTok and Instagram and her offering. So thank you so much, Kelsey, for coming on, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.